Counting down to the president's first address to Congress, the expectations from viewers in San Diego and the rest of the Golden State.
Can't go erase it and try to hide the fact that, I just went to jail for 9 shootings that I had nothing to do with or even knew happened.
The challenge of building a life after jail and the 2 San Diego men hitting back against the law used to put them behind bars.
So it's kind of like throwing a baseball. You don't throw a baseball in the same spot every time.
In the random weather patterns behind San Diego's wild winter storms, KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. California's top 2 legislative leaders want to know what's behind a surge in immigration and customs enforcement, and they filed a Freedom of Information Act request to get more information. The Assembly Speaker and the Senate President Pro Tem say it's aimed at obtaining copies of recent guidance memos sent to the Department of Homeland Security and ICE.
With this new president, it's been very difficult. And it's very difficult because on one end, you hear executive orders, you hear what the president says in his press conferences and his tweets, and it's the complete opposite of what the Secretary of Homeland Security says. So everyone's confused. And as a result, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of heightened fears, especially among the American-born children.
De Leon says a better understanding of how ICE and DHS are carrying out the president's orders to crack down on illegal residents will help California form its own policies in response. San Diego is supporting a lawsuit before the U.S. Supreme Court filed by a transgender high school student. Gavin Grimm is suing his school district in Virginia, seeking the right to use the men's bathroom. The San Diego City Council voted Monday to sign an amicus brief in support of Grimm. Charlie Brown, a 17-year-old transgender teen, told council members he was terrified of using his high school's bathroom for fear of harassment and bullying.
The harassment and bullying is what pushes us to depression and suicide. It's the reason why 41% of us have attempted suicide, and it's why even I in the 10th grade did so myself.
Only the council's 5 Democrats supported signing the brief. A Republican senator in Tennessee is calling for a boycott of a national legislators meeting next year because it's in California. He says it's in retaliation for California's ban on state-funded travel to places that are considered anti-LGBT. Senator Mike Bell says it could touch off an economic war if other states follow suit. Tonight, the president will address a joint session of Congress for the first time. He's expected to lay out his legislative agenda and his vision for governing. Local immigration attorney and Trump supporter Esther Valdez will be watching. KPBS reporter Steve Walsh spoke with her earlier today.
So you're a Republican and an immigration attorney, but you're also Latina. What do you expect to hear from the president? What do you want to hear from the president?
I want to hear a unifying message. I want to hear a message of hope that's consistent, that speaks not only to all Americans, but especially to Hispanic Americans. This has been a very hard time for all of us who are part of the Mexican-American community. I am the daughter of Mexican immigrants. I came here when I was 4 years old, even though I was born here. And it's been particularly challenging to embrace the full agenda of this presidency. I feel that we've had reports that he will have some guests of victims, families that have had people who have been murdered by undocumented immigrants. I think that's the wrong message. I think he should have focused on the strengths of his administration, which is to carve out exemptions for those who entered here unlawfully when they were young people, the dreamers, the DACA recipients, and give us hope in that respect.
Do you expect a change in tone tonight?
I hope so. I think all of America wants to hear the president for the first time. This is our first opportunity to hear from the American president what is on his agenda, what his priorities are, and I hope it is one that is not divisive, that doesn't address what's wrong with America, but a new future, something bold, something unprecedented, something good for the American people.
Esther Valdez, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You may see more drama ahead of the president's address. Some Democrats may snub the commander-in-chief by refusing to shake the president's hand. Another protest can be seen with the D.C. guest list. Other lawmakers invited refugees and immigrants to highlight the president's policies. Political experts say this may not be the time or place to protest.
I think the vast majority of Americans are looking for some decorum in their government. They don't like the angst, they don't like the anger, they want problems solved, and whichever side demonstrates that is going to be viewed, at least in terms of public perception, as the one who came out on top.
Coverage on the president's address to Congress will start here at 6. Evening edition will not be shown at 6:30, so we can bring you our special coverage. We hope you'll join us. Amid the talk about repealing the Affordable Care Act health insurance guarantees, very little has been said about other parts of the law, those dealing with improving quality of care. Cheryl Clark of KPBS media partner iNews Source has more.
Obamacare is as much about patient protection as it is about health insurance. There's more than 100 sections that help doctors, surgery centers, hospitals, and nursing homes keep patients safer, and there are financial incentives. Dr. Don Berwick ran the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services just after the law was passed, and he says it's distressing to think that all that progress would disappear.
The Affordable Care Act has many provisions that actually help make care get better, much more reliable, much safer. It has provisions that allow people to get care at their homes and in communities rather than in institutions if they choose to. It has a whole set of mechanisms in it that give hospitals, doctors, and clinics incentives to really focus in on quality, to make sure that patients are getting exactly the right care and to reduce errors in care.
Other parts of the law boost the public's ability to see quality scores of hospitals and nursing homes. And Berwick says that transparency helps everyone. He'd like to see the problems fixed in Obamacare instead of repealing the law altogether. For KPBS, I'm iNews Source reporter Cheryl Clark.
Caltrans got together with its partner agency today to offer a look at all the work being done to keep San Diego moving, whether by car, bus, or bicycle. KPBS North County reporter Allison St. John was there.
There's a lot going on all around the county, from Highway 125 in the South County to State Route 67 in the East County and Highway 76 in the North County. Plus, there is, of course, the Mid-Coast trolley line going in and miles of new bike lanes.
Today's news conference was held beside one of the biggest projects going on in San Diego, the Genesee Interchange on Interstate 5. This map shows the list of road projects Caltrans is working on this year. And District Director Laurie Berman says Caltrans is not just building roads.
We implement the statewide bike and pedestrian plan with the goal of tripling bicycle and doubling pedestrian trips between 2010 and 2020.
Berman says Caltrans has had its work cut out for it maintaining existing roads during the past winter storms.
This year, the work included a record 34 emergency projects totaling more than $33 million in fiscal year 15-16.
Speaking of money, Berman has some cautionary words for the future.
The current financing system is unsustainable, and we need to find a better way to keep maintaining our transportation infrastructure.
And of course, that infrastructure includes more than just freeways and bike lanes.
But this is a transit-rich area too.
Rob Shupp of the Metropolitan Transit System says there's a new Mid-Coast trolley line going in and an expansion of public transit at UTC.
And while most people are probably more concerned about when Nordstrom is going to open, we also have a beautiful new transit center that's going to open there next month. And 1.26 million people start their trips at University Town Center. Good morning.
Gary Gallegos is executive director of the San Diego Association of Governments, which finds the money to pay for all the construction projects that try to prevent San Diego's traffic from getting any worse. Gallegos says 40% of the work promised under the 2008 Transnet sales tax has already been done. But the last 60%, he says, will take longer. That's because instead of borrowing against future tax revenue, the agency has decided to pay as you go.
What that means is that you collect enough money till you can afford to build the project, right? So you don't borrow to build it now, and it takes longer.
Looking ahead, improvements to our freeways and our public transit systems could slow down after 2020 unless the federal government comes through with a promise of more money for infrastructure. at the Genesee Interchange Project. Alison St. John, KPBS News.
U.S. officials did not notify the public about a massive cross-border sewage spill, even though they started making inquiries 2 weeks before the sewage spill stopped flowing. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson says the spill wasn't reported until it was stopped.
The spill was finally confirmed late last week after the flow had been stopped. Imperial Beach officials reached out to the U.S. International Boundary and Water Commission officials about a strong sewage smell. They asked if there was a spill, but they got no reply. IBWC spokeswoman Lori Kosmansky says contaminated flows across the border are common.
The Tijuana River had been flowing across the border since December 16th, and the wet weather flows often contain bacterial contamination due to manhole cover overflows, broken pipes, sewage from unsewered areas, et cetera.
However, a 143 million gallon spill that lasts more than 2 weeks is not common. U.S. officials say they asked their Mexican counterparts if there was a spill at least 3 times the first request on February 7th. The U.S. got confirmation February 23rd. Federal officials did not reach out to local officials until they reported the spill late last week. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Yesterday's storm unleashed a record amount of rain, causing flooding, downed trees, mudslides, and power outages. KPBS reporter Susan Murphy says the region has already exceeded its average rainfall for the year, and we still have the wet month of March ahead.
The heavy rains have stopped, but the floodwaters are still flowing. The 52-mile-long San Diego River transformed overnight into a raging torrent, flooding streets all through Mission Valley, submerging cars, and leading to river rescues and evacuations.
So the San Diego River last night, early this morning, reached 14.2 feet, which is significant. It ranks the 3rd highest since about 1900.
It was an amount of rain not seen in decades. A storm from the north combined with a large plume of subtropical moisture from the south called an atmospheric river.
It brought that piece of moisture right into California. And since the storm was very slow moving, once the two met and once the rain began early Monday morning, it rained literally for 24 hours without stopping.
Downtown San Diego received more than 2 inches of rain, Escondido 4 inches, Palomar Mountain 9 inches. Since October, San Diego has received more than 11 inches of rain. It's about an inch above average. Meteorologist Alex Tardy says the region's wet winter is the result of an active pattern of atmospheric river systems and a jet stream ushering the storms across the county, not the result of last year's El Nino or this year's La Nina.
Each year, the atmosphere kind of resets, and so there's a lot of randomness to what goes on. So it's kind of like throwing a baseball. You don't throw a baseball in the same spot every time.
Tardy says the outlook for spring is a shift in the weather pattern with drier air and more high-pressure systems. Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
Well, San Diego is in the clear. It looks like nothing but sunshine for the rest of the week. Shanae Shocker has tonight's forecast.
Well, this last winter storm breaking records across the board as far as our rainfall totals are concerned. And at the top of that list is the Palomar Mountain, just over 9 inches of rain. We've seen plenty of flooding out towards Fashion Valley and also Mission Valley as well. Some water rescues continuing throughout this morning. We take a look at the San Diego International rainfall totals out towards the airport here. Just about 2.5 inches. Chula Vista at just under 2 inches here. So definitely an extreme case of some rain as we headed throughout the rest of the evening. We continue to see some flash flood watches as well as we continue to see some of the San Diego River rise as well. Should be dying out as we head throughout the rest of our evening here. So for tonight's forecast, we're looking dry, a little bit cooler out towards Mount Laguna, 24 degrees, out towards Borrego Springs, 42 as well, Ramona, 33, and into Oceanside, 41 degrees for your low tonight. Now into our Wednesday, we're going to start to see our winds shift around a little bit. They were kind of out of the north with the passing of that frontal system, but we have an area of high pressure And that's going to be bringing some drier and warmer winds across much of Southern California. That's going to help us dry out quite a bit throughout tomorrow. So our forecast on our Wednesday here, looking with plenty of sunshine and a warming trend in our temperatures through our Friday as well. That's pretty much the story. So that is beautiful weather for us, especially after all that wet and dreary weather we had over the weekend into our Monday as well. Into the weekend, we're going to cool off just a touch. Temperature is going to drop into those mid-60s for your Saturday here, and on your Sunday looks like we'll have some lower clouds towards the morning hours, so if you have flights heading out on your Sunday, check in with them as there could be some flight delays. As we head inland here, temperatures rising into those mid-80s on our Friday. This is going to be near record-breaking warmth, and then we'll cool off into our weekend as well. Once again, those low clouds on your Sunday. Into the mountains we go, and not too bad here, but we are going to warm up into those low to mid-70s for our Friday, so about a 20-degree warm up here. It's going to be sunny, it's going to be breezy, beautiful weather, and that's going to stick with us into the weekend. But on our Sunday, slightly cooler weather on the way, so make sure you have that lighter jacket handy, because we do see a high of 55 degrees. Now towards the deserts, well, we're climbing into those lower 80s, and we'll stay there in through our Saturday as well, building in a couple more clouds, and on our Sunday, a high of 79, going to be quite nice as well. For KPBS, I'm Shanae Shocker.
2 San Diego men say their rights were violated. They're suing the city, claiming police did not have probable cause to arrest them in 2014 during a gang crackdown. You might recall the case of Brandon Duncan, a San Diego rapper known as Tiny Do. In 2015, a judge dismissed the gang conspiracy charges against him and Aaron Harvey. Now they're suing for the whole ordeal.
I can't let this happen to my kids, because I know that's who it's for. It's not for me.
Brandon Duncan faced life in prison.
Can't go erase it and try to hide the fact that, I just went to jail for 9 shootings that I had nothing to do with or even knew happened. I'm just painting a picture, man, of urban street life.
His case got national coverage for San Diego County District Attorney Bonnie DeManis' use of a little-known California gang conspiracy law. Penal Code 182.5 was part of Prop 21, the Gang Violence and Juvenile Crime Prevention Act of 1998. It makes it a felony to be an active member of a gang, know about the gang's criminal activity, and to promote, assist, or benefit. A person found guilty of conspiracy faces the same prison time as the gang member who actually carries out the crime.
You get who the person that did the crime. You can't just grab everybody based off of somebody else's crime. Just get that person. Do real police work. That's what you get paid to do.
Trying to make $1 million, I ain't stopping till I'm silly rich.
Duncan is a rapper known as Tiny Do. Prosecutors argued his lyrics helped prove his guilt.
I was like, yeah, right. I've never in my life heard of somebody going to jail based off of what they talk about in music, especially if it's not connected.
Duncan says his music is about his community, not a gang.
You mean to tell me for some music you give me 100 years, hang me in the media, dog me in front of my peers? When my mother brought me home from the hospital, she brought me to La Paz, which is a street in Lincoln Park. So yeah, I talk about my community a lot in my music, you know what I mean? And like I say, they felt like, I was talking about a gang street when I talked about La Paz. You know what I mean? Like, he's talking about these gang-infested areas. Where I'm talking about where I grew up at, period.
Duncan's charges were part of a larger gang case with 14 other men named. Aaron Harvey was co-defendant number 7.
I was terrified. I thought I was going to die.
In 2014, Harvey was living in Las Vegas when U.S. Marshals came for him.
Everybody's screaming different instructions. Some people are saying hands up, some people are saying get on the ground, some people are saying turn around. So you don't move, and then when you don't move, it's like there's just a lose-lose situation.
SDPD detectives testified his social media accounts revealed his gang ties.
Initially, it brings you some hope, right? Because you're like, nobody goes to jail over Facebook pictures, right?
Detectives said Harvey's page included pictures of him with other gang members.
And then the judge is like, oh, that's enough. So, you're scared. You're back to being terrified, really. Like, I'm really about to go to jail for life over Facebook pictures.
Harvey and Duncan say the men charged have this neighborhood in common. They also say growing up in Lincoln Park, it's easy for a young man to get on the radar of police.
Prosecutors argued Duncan and Harvey were active gang members when others in the gang carried out attempted premeditated murder. They faced 25 years to life in prison. For 7 months, they were locked in the George Bailey detention facility awaiting trial. Harvey says the jail lived up to his violent reputation.
Yeah, you just got to hold all that in, because at any moment in time, you know, when it go down, it go down. So your tears, your scaredness, you got to live to see another day. You got to live to see another court date.
One of those dates was a hearing about the merits of the district attorney's case against Duncan and Harvey. A Superior Court judge ruled there was no evidence connecting the men to the drive-by shootings. They were free. 2 years later, Harvey says he doesn't feel free.
I still feel like I can, at any moment in time, just go back to jail.
Duncan shares this fear.
You scared. Because, I don't. 182.5 is still on the books. I don't know if they're going to come kick my door in tomorrow based off of me doing what I'm doing with you right now. Me speaking out, me being a voice for the voiceless.
Duncan still makes music about where he's from and what he's been through.
Then go to sleep like it never happened, but want to give me life because I was out here rapping.
The city has not responded to the lawsuit, but District Attorney Bonnie DeManis did respond when the judge first dismissed the charges. She said 182.5 is a useful tool to fight gangs.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next News Hour, previewing President Donald Trump's address to a joint session of Congress. That's Tuesday on the PBS News Hour.
School leaders in Texas wrestle with a policy limiting transgender students. There's a 17-year-old student wrestler caught in the middle. Associated Press reporter John Moan explains why he's being forced to compete against girls because of what's on his birth certificate.
Mac Beggs looks like many anxious, brooding teenage boys, fidgeting and trying to focus. The undefeated wrestler is getting into competition mode before the Texas State High School tournament in Houston, in the girls' 110-pound weight class. The 17-year-old was born female but is transitioning to male with the aid of testosterone therapy. Beggs told a Dallas newspaper he'd compete against boys if he could, but state rules won't allow it. The Dallas area teen won his first match on Friday against Taylor Latham. Latham's mother says she empathizes with Beggs, but
it's not fair for that individual that wants to transition and wrestle boys. And it's not fair for the female wrestlers for this unfair advantage.
Beggs competes against girls because the state policy for athletics requires students to wrestle against the gender listed on their birth certificate.
We believe having those separate divisions has led to the overwhelming success of the sport in our state and the high volume of participation in our state as compared to others.
Texas is one of a handful of states that has separate boys and girls wrestling competitions and has thousands of participants. As for the hormone use, the state policy allows Beggs to compete because he's changing genders under the care of a doctor. In a previous tournament, 2 of Beggs' opponents forfeited rather than fight. This man says if his daughter faced the transgendered teen, she'd compete.
No, she's never backed down from a wrestling match, and she's not going to start today.
Beggs is suddenly in the limelight, caught in the whirlwind of a fiercely political issue, and is unsurprisingly shy of the national media attention and cameras trained on his every movement.
It doesn't really bother me if, like, a girl's in the boys' bracket or something, so.
I don't know. I've never heard of an athlete being allowed to use enhancements of any kind, so I was shocked.
And if she thinks that she is capable to compete with the boys, then she should be able to compete with the boys.
A victorious Beggs and his grandmother slipped out of the arena before reporters could catch up. He told us he'll talk after the tournament is over. John Moan, Associated Press, Houston.
Now here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. On Morning Edition, California Senator Kamala Harris takes aim at the president's immigration policy. We fact-check a key number she uses connecting Latinos and 911 calls. And on Midday Edition, a new state program to help House California's mentally ill. We'll have the details on No Place Like Home tomorrow on KPBS Radio. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.